This is where we're starting our project today, doing something new to me. I've never done silicone rubber, and I thought that I would give it a try. Yeah, this one's a little different. It's still a 1-to-1 ratio, but it's by weight this time. So I found these little tombstones and I wanted to keep them. So I thought I would cast them in resin so that I could do that. If I wanted to do something next time with a sort of Halloween theme on the needed gravestones, I could put them in resin and still keep the originals. Apparently you have to pour this from quite high up, so it's probably about 2 feet up. I was pouring this quite high. So this was fun, waiting for it for the next day to unmold it to see how well, you know, it had taken. I had to get my husband to help me with the amounts of resin. There we are, one big slab of silicone resin. You can see I had a little bit of seepage under some of them. The one on the top right, perfect. But I had to spend some time with an X-Acto knife, going around the edge of the mould, cutting off the extraneous stuff that had seeped under. But yeah, I was really pleased. This silicone rubber is magic. So there you can see I've had a little bit of a clean-up. Yeah, it was fun to do. So I can keep this mould for future times, as I say, if I need a little graveyard mould, I've made my own. That was my first time experience. I was amazed at the detail that it kept. Yeah, so that was new for me. Back to what we know. Okay, so now I'm going to take a cast using our usual resin of my newly made mould. Oh yeah, and just a word of caution. Apparently, if you read a running guy, if you read the instructions for silicone rubber, you are supposed to wait 24 hours before you cast anything in it, and that's what I did. With this, I just mixed up my resin and my 3 colours on the left. The black, the white and the sort of shiny, shimmery pearl. I just mixed them up because you're going to decorate the gravestones anyway. So yeah, play to your heart's content. Because these are quite detailed, I decided to give a little wiggling about with my usual silicone tools just to make absolutely sure to get all the resin down in those little nooks and crannies, and the usual heat gun, of course. Unmolding day. So this is 2 lots of unmolding. Unmolding of the silicone rubber and unmolding of the ones that I've cast. Yeah, I was really happy. I had 6 gravestones, I only used 5. But I was very happy with the way they came out. Even though I scraped off with my lolly stick some of the excess resin, I've still got a little bit of kind of overpour. You can see some of them need a little bit of a clean up around the back on the edges. So I just took an X-Acto knife and tidied them up a bit. See, this one needs a bit of tidying up. It's got great big chunks on it. But that's okay, easily solved. So yeah, I just went in with some silver pen. I also did some gold pen as well. As you can see, I put gold pen on some of them as well. And a little bit of white acrylic just around the edges to give them a more sort of roughened, stone-aged look. I know you haven't seen me do the man yet, but I gave the whole thing a coat of acrylic. Now this is making the cemetery man, the sort of Grim Reaper with a sword. And I loved this mould. It has such fantastic detail. The only thing I'm going to complain about is on his, let's see, is it his right shoulder? No, I think it's on his left shoulder. He has been branded. The company that makes this mould, I forget, well, it'll be in the descriptions, but their company brand begins with an E. And they have put a capital E on his left shoulder. I got an X-Acto knife and I took that off. And once you've put the gold on him, you don't see it. Yeah, just so nice. But cut that stupid E off. There, you can see it there as I turned it around. Just take that off with an X-Acto knife and you won't even notice it. So yeah, this is just gold pen again, sort of smeared over him just to show up his details, and he shows up really nicely doing this method. It really changed him. Yeah, so I decided to add a little bit of sparkle to the box, as I was going to do it black, so I thought let's have a little bit of sparklies in there. What I'm using here is not actually the Siso, it's called Slice of the Moon, but it's not available anymore, so the Siso Shining Pearl White is pretty much the same thing. I hate it when I do a video and things I use, they're no longer available. I guess that happens to us all. And just do the same colour, the black, with the shining white pearl for the lid. And this little lid actually took more than I thought. Originally I only mixed up 2 ounces, but it wasn't enough, so that's why you see me doing the clear. It took 4 ounces, which surprised me because I didn't think it would take that much, but it did. Unmoulding. As I say, this is, if you work with resin, this is always the fun day. It's so shiny. I love it. Thank goodness this is a mould that's easy. I don't have to fight with it. It's easy to unmould. I did wonder if it would be a little bit difficult to get the man out of the mould, but it was very easy because that mould is very jelly-like. It's very stretchy. So that was not a chore. And this is why I put the silver in, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. And the lid, which is where all the action is going to take place. Okay, explanation. I thought I'd filmed this, the actual putting of the white lines on, but apparently I did not. So, the white lines each represent a little light. And I just put that on with white marker Sharpie. And all I did was arranged my 5 gravestones and my man on the lid where I wanted them to be, and then right in the middle of everything, like so that it would be shining up on the tombstones, marked the middle of each tombstone. But you've got a little bit of leeway. I mean, you can move things around, but I wanted them to shine in the center of the tombstones and around the figure. So that's what the white lines represent. And then I had to drill a hole because I'm putting the lights up from underneath. So that's how the white lines got there. Oh, now these lights, they came with something else. The good thing about these is you can replace the batteries if you stick it on correctly. So I marked it top, and that's the piece that folds back, has a little hinge, so that I didn't stick that bit down, so that actually, as you saw, if I needed to replace the batteries, I could pop that off and just put 3 replacement batteries in and close it back down again. So make sure you stick the lights on that way. Then all I did was literally this, just place all my pieces, man in the middle, and my tombstones. This is how I did it the first time. And as I say, each little line represents the center of the tombstones. And when you stick the little lights on, make sure that the diode, the actual bulb itself, is pointing in towards what you're trying to illuminate. Okay? Then all I did was went around and put a little light on each of those lines. Yeah, you might have to move a few wires and things, but make sure you get your lights shining on the subject. Like so. And these lights are very bright too. And then all I did was glue the wires. Don't glue the lights themselves. And I roughed up the base of the man just to make it stick a bit better. When you put the man in, make sure the lights are facing the man. There are 10 lights on this set, so you want 5 for the gravestones So I just went around the outside and made sure that the others were shining on the man. Now some fun. This is what modelers use for their little dioramas and things, and I used to make little model houses and things, and this is what I used. Mix it with a little bit of white glue. It's good stuff. They call it grass, but I used it as a moss and a grass on my little creation here. Yeah, so just mix it up with a little bit of white glue. I found it was easier to spread it on the mat to sort of get access to it for scooping up on a brush and plastering on the gravestones. And then just cover your gravestones as you want them with your moss. As I say, I use a little bit also for, on the ground for grass. So yeah, you can see where I've put my grass / moss, just to give it a more sort of eerie look, sort of very old cemetery. And then I put on a few little dry bits as well. It just seemed to help, make it look a bit more interesting. Now the packets I show you, they say frit. That's just another way of saying crushed glass. Because I also used to do melting glass as well, projects. So I just mixed the two colours together, got myself a nice blend. And again, I just used the white glue, mix it up with some white school glue. Works very well. Keep it off the lights. You don't want to put it on the lights because you want them to shine through. So just cover up your wires. Another thing you can also do, when your glass has dried completely, in order to keep the little stones in place, brush on a little bit of UV resin and cure that. That will help to keep your stones secure in place. That's what I did, although I didn't show it here. That is what I did. Just with the glass, the crushed glass. And a little bit more of the grass moss. Yeah, again, I just mixed it up and put it at the back because I didn't want to put the stones at the back. Just in case they interfered with putting the lid on. So I put this stuff on the back. And that's also the reason why I don't got the edges with the glass or the grass so that it doesn't stop the lid fitting inside the box. Yeah. So I put on some wet grass and then I put on a little bit of dry just to give it a bit more texture. Yeah, I decided to cheer him up a bit and give him some flowers. So again, these are sort of what people use who do model making. All the things that I have used, where I can find them and they're available, I've put them in the description in a supplies list. But because this is such a huge project and it uses so many parts, you know, so many products, I may not be able to put them all in the description supplies list, you know, down below. Because I think you're only allowed to have something like 5,000 characters in there. And by the time you've put the URL from Amazon or wherever the product comes from, and the description of whatever it is, you use up an awful lot of characters. So if I'm going to put on the most important things, but if I've used something that didn't go in the supplies list, let me know and I will put it just in the usual comments if you want to know where they came from. As I say, this used a lot of stuff. So yeah, I just gave him some flowers, cheer him up a bit. And again, I just used the white glue. And that was the end of my second Halloween project. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had fun. I really love this. He turned out so well. Hi guys, it's me. I am back. And this is Halloween project number 2, which I thoroughly enjoyed this. I had so much fun with this. This box, of course, you will recognize if you watched my 10 favorite molds. This was one of those that was in there. It's a fairly new mold. Yeah, I haven't had it for very long, but I love the box. I love the fact that it's not just a square. It has a nice shape. This was fun. I must admit, I could have gone on and on and on, but I thought, no, let's stop. Don't overdo it. But when I was thinking of making the cemetery, I thought, well, it would be nice if he had some lights. It was illuminated in some way. And I bought something else which had these little lights in it. So I thought, well, I'll use those. And it really came out well. I enjoyed making this. I had so much fun with this. And I am going to make some more Halloween projects, probably a couple more. But so far, as I say, well, this is only my second one, so I can't say this is my favourite of all because I've only done 2. But so far, I've really enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, maybe you would think about subscribing and liking and hitting that notification bell so that you can see what else I come up with next on my Halloween projects. So, thank you for watching. See you next time. Same time, same place. Bye for now.